What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another beautiful episode with your boys Buzz. We have our drinks with us. We got our Crown Royal Peach and Mountain Dew. You definitely know, give this drink a try. It is delicious. So, we are going to start off this episode talking about video games because some shit is on my mind, and I'm frustrated. NBA 2K26, we got the early access. We wanted to get the game about a week early, get a little head start. And we have. The game officially dropped today. I recommend you go get the game. It is an overall really good game, but cheating is back.
Yeah.
Zins are back. And people are open about it. We've played games. I've messaged people. Are you zinning? Yeah. Why do you think I shoot so good? 2K, what are we doing? Give me back RNG. I can't do this no more. I can't do it no more, man. We got people out here averaging fucking 40 points per game, and the game's been out. The game technically hadn't even dropped yet. It dropped today. I'm hurting. Dude, it's a problem. In real talk, the fact again that these games are worth billions of dollars, companies, and all that, and you cannot come up with a fucking software or anything to prevent cheating. I'm not even talking about 2K. I'm talking about all games, from your shooting games to your sports games. It is absolutely ridiculous that, now that you have to basically pay to play, because you got these passes, the VC you have to buy, or just everything you have to buy in totality of the game, and you have to deal with cheating, I think is absolutely wrong. And the fact that these games are unwilling to handle these situations properly is ridiculous. Especially to, I would quote-unquote say, the casual player. The people that have a 40-hour work week, they just want to come home and just enjoy playing with their friends. And we can't even get that now. That's my problem. It's just wrong.
I think it's, for me, the whole thing is it's overall it's a decently solid game.
Yes.
I think they've definitely loosened it up for all sizes to be able to do everything. You can be up 7-4. They did increase. It's a solid game, but it's hard to even stay competitive in these games when people have devices to cheat. In all kind of modes, though, now like you said, just outside of 2K, there's other games that people cheat. Whether it's, it's Fortnite or Call of Duty, any kind of battle royale. It's very weird to me that PUBG, they don't allow cheating.
Yeah.
They ban people. And I'm confused on how I pay money to buy the game, then I pay money to make a character or buy a pass, or sometimes both, and I'm still dealing with cheating. Is a crazy. You gotta think about
it. After tax, we spent $108 to get early access because we did not buy the.
If you buy the most expensive edition is $140. Then add on some tax, and then you gotta spend about another $60 to $80 on 2K to make your bill a full $99 once you grind it out.
And it's unfortunate because the game was really great until a lot of people who know this man, Aiden Ross, who's a big time streamer, came out and said that a lot of your content creators and streamers are using Zins, and then the moment that happened, literally you saw an intake of people I'm Zinning, bro, and you're only spending, it's retarded. It's you spend $50 for the Zin, and I literally we played the other day, and I asked this guy if he's Zin. He's like, yeah, my Zin is pretty much where I don't see defense. You could jump at me all day long, I'm not going to see you, I'm going to green all day long. It's just where's the competitive edge? Last 2K and 2K25, there was more competitive games. Games were closer. We literally went 4 games where we literally got blown out by 30 because people we went up against a team.
They missed 9 shots.
9 shots. How am I supposed to compete, and how is it supposed to be fun when you're dealing with that? That's our little rant. I think 2K needs to be better, especially for the casual gamer, man.
I think all games.
All games.
They're more expensive than they were when you were buying a physical hard copy from a store. I'm not buying.
Think about. I'm gonna look at it like this too, from this aspect too, Brandon. GTA 6 is supposed to drop potentially next year. All the cheating that goes on in GTA. That game's gonna be well expensive.
I promise you there'll be zero cheating going on in that game.
Well, the way, yeah, no, probably.
Honestly, I feel like GTA, I feel like that company I don't.
Rockstar.
I feel like there's not a whole lot of cheating.
Rockstar, in the beginning, Rockstar definitely came in. They cleaned that shit up very quickly. They banned your account. They take everything away from you.
Well, considering they kind of introduced cheating with like quote unquote cheat codes, you can tap it on your controller.
Yeah.
We all remember having that sheet on GTA.
San Andreas, baby, absolutely.
They kind of introduced the cheating, but like I just know when GTA drops, I just know like all the sports games, Call of Duty, Black Ops.
Like Activision is probably the worst one when it comes to cheating. Like they know about it, and they just don't care. Fortnite, I would say so. 2K, man, like this is crazy. It's crazy. That's our little rant about video games, man. But let us know what you think about
it. Like it's a pastime to kind of relax, and you gotta be better for the amount of money that people nowadays get to put into games. And the only thing I say is, before games were expensive, you went to the store, you had to buy it from the store, and this brick and mortar. I'm buying it online. I'm not even getting a hard copy in the mail. I'm buying a digital copy, and it's more. Like, that's the crazy part about video games nowadays, is everything is digital, and so technically you don't actually own it. You own, like, you technically kind of rent a video game nowadays. You don't actually get a hard copy.
Yeah, that's the worst part about it.
I just hope, I just wish video games would get better at stopping cheating and actually punish people that do.
So, that's our rant about video games. So before we get into our sports talk, there's some things I want to bring up. Now, This was some funny stuff I saw. Granted, we don't have to worry about this aspect of it because we're married. We ain't got to worry about the dating scene. But could you imagine going out on a date, right? You met this girl, and you're going to go out to this dinner, and she roll up with 23 family members, and then gets upset because you didn't pay the bill. For you guys that don't know, this was a funny thing that we came across. These two couple met, talked for a while. They went out on a date. And she brought 23 of her family members, and she got upset because she got stuck with a $3,100 dinner bill after her blind date refused to pay for the 23 family members. Boy, if you would have shut up 23 family, we're not even having the date. Like, we're not even going to go to dinner. I'm not sitting down. I'm rolling about this motherfucker. 23.
I guess some of the things.
Why are you bringing 23 family members on a blind date?
Even like when you go on a blind date and like she shows up with like her friends. Like I get like the one friend to make sure like nothing's kind of like weird going on, but like you then need to go away when she's comfortable. I'm not buying you dinner and you drinks. I ain't wine dining you. You ain't. I mean, unless you're getting down on it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, like you can go away too. When 23 people show up, I'm like, yeah. They walk up like, hey. Are you such and such? Nah, like, no, that ain't me. Like,
that ain't me, bro.
Like,
these blind dates are getting wild. The dating scene out here now, man, is scary.
What would you do? All of a sudden, the bill comes and you look at the bill, $3,000. What the, like, what are you spending?
Better get back there and do some dishes.
What are you buying that's making this ticket $3,000? Even nowadays, age, like, I mean, 25 people in totality. I mean, I get it, I guess, sort of.
What the fuck did you order?
If you're at the high-end place, but $3,000? God damn.
I'd have been like, I paid for myself. I'm like, that's your problem.
Crazy, that word.
I guess you'd have to look over like, so am I getting something? Nah, the dude's...
For $3,000?
For $3,000.
That's an expensive that's expensive as little expensive. That's a little expensive there, my guy.
That's very expensive.
I don't know what you're what you into.
Yeah.
$3,000, that's a lot.
I hope that steak was worth it. That's all I got. I don't know what you ordered. I hope that steak, that drink, whatever you got.
Damn.
Hope it was worth it. But speaking on relationships, man, we all remember our former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. He's wilding out here, okay? He's wilding. If you did not know, I thought this was crazy. Tyreek Hill recently just got divorced from his wife that he was married to for 17 months. And they had to go to court, which was crazy. So she secured a $500K lump sum. She gets $20 to $50K monthly in spending money and $100K for a new car and $450K for her legal fees. And she gets $5.5 million of their mansion. That's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like,
no child support, though.
No child support, though, because, he got too many kids. But, god damn. She's getting 20 to 50K to be able to comfortably live her lifestyle. Why the fuck am I funding your lifestyle? We are not together no more. And this was all done by a judge. A judge confirmed that. That's crazy. I told that judge to shut it 2 ways from Sunday.
I mean, like that.
Tyreek Hill needs to stop, man. Stop.
We need to stop. He needs to stop popping out kids.
Stop.
We all know that girl. They all told her, you need to leave him. I'm gonna give you time so I can get that alimony money.
17 months.
It's long enough. Apparently. Long enough to keep
paying. Over a year, god damn.
And where he has to pay for the house, the car, the insurance, utilities,
damn.
And fund money.
You're not gonna do this.
And you want to pay, something towards the kid too, probably.
So, speaking of another relationship that was kind of funny, if you guys haven't seen the video, I recommend you go over to Instagram and type in SB NBA basketball and check out the video between PJ Washington and his baby mama, Brittany Renner. She's a very popular name. Deion Sanders has brought her on to show kids what to basically look out for. She's had her 15 minutes of fame up and down throughout. But PJ Washington have a kid together. He's very hands-on. He's present. But she was complaining and recording. And you know what happens when you got your girls out there recording. She's trying to get a reaction out of you. But she's upset that he spent $170K on his new wife. That's a weird flex. Like, why are you mad about it? Like, it's not your problem. But the kid's only got $11K in its bank account. The child's only got $11K, Brandon. Only $11K, dog. I got like $400 in my bank account, dog. Like, where my money, man?
That's not enough fuck you money.
No, man.
Apparently, it's not enough fuck you money for the kid that has 11 grand in his account. Apparently, that's a problem for her, and apparently a problem that he's spending money on his now.
But what's even funnier about this is after that video dropped and whatnot, I think it was 2 days later, the Dallas Mavericks gave PJ Washington a 4-year, $90 million contract extension. Secured the bag.
Hey.
The kid's gonna have a little bit more than $11K here pretty soon.
I think the kid's will take care. Like, no matter what happens, the kid's gonna be well taken care.
It's the most funny thing. You spent in the video, she's like, you spent $170K, but our child only has $11K. That child's got more money than most Americans do right now. That are working Americans. Like, goddamn. The kid's like 4. Like, I think the kid's okay.
The kid's okay. I don't think the kid can actually even legitimately spend the money.
That's crazy to me. But we're going to say this to you. For all of our young men out there and women, just be careful. Just be careful out there. Be careful. Especially you young celebrities.
All I have to say is women, like take a second before you let the dude do with you.
But then also, women out there, you have to understand too, when you're in these relationships and you're getting upset that your man doesn't want to get married, like, these are the reasons why some men don't want to get married. Like, I'm not knocking marriage, but there's more at risk for men in a marriage than there is for a woman. And that's just the reality of it. Like, if
it doesn't work out,
I lose all my stuff.
I get fucked. The men get fucked.
They do.
In the marriage. Because we're no longer together, so now...
Especially been together over 10 years. Well, and, for regular people, celebrity people, they have a different set of rules to a degree. But, like, you have to give alimony if you have children. If you can't work them out, there's child support, which is utterly ridiculous in itself. But you young people out there need to just be careful. And that's on both sides of the yard. For my young men and my young...
Choose your spouses wisely.
Don't rush into things.
Parent and your significant other of your child wisely as well. But we all know when you talk about famous people, and in particular the NFL and the NBA, because it's really just the NFL and the NBA, because you don't really hear this really in the MLB.
Yeah.
These women, they're doing it on purpose. They're just like, if I can get this dude to knock me up, I'm gonna be set for life.
That's what, to me, if you're a celebrity, especially on as a man.
Well, it's not really celebrities. It's an athlete.
An athlete. If you are an athlete and you are not with a girl who you've known pretty much your whole life, or you're in a relationship, and you come in and then you try. It's just never going to work out. It's very
Well,
rare.
I debunked that very quickly with Travis Hunter.
Well,
he just got married.
Yeah.
And we're
waiting for that to happen. And they have a baby boy. They had their baby.
But is it his?
I don't know.
But is it his? Because she out there flaunting it, and we all I don't know.
We tried to warn him, and he didn't take the
Well, the whole social media and the people out there.
He drove her to some of these places.
And sat outside.
That's not even a funny thing either. That's a fact. We have that on record. But just be careful out there. But that's that. Let's get into the real talk that we need to talk about. We're going to start with college football. So, last week we had the most anticipated debut of one of the biggest, well, you can say not the biggest name, but one of the biggest names in college football because of his last name, Manning. Arch Manning debuted for Texas. They were number 1 when they debuted. And we missed a little bit of that game, unfortunately. We got sidetracked. We missed a little bit of that game. And when you look at Archie's debut of the passing complete and attempts, which I believe was, do we have that?
Archie was 17 of 30 for 170 yards, 1 tutty, 1 interception.
So when you hear those stats, a lot of people jump very quickly. Oh my God, he's not that guy. But then when you dive down a little bit more and you see the score of that game,
score was 7-14.
Not so bad.
Considering the quarterback opposite of him went 13 of 20 for 126 yards and a tutty. Rushing yards for Texas, 16 carries, 80 yards. Ohio State, 19 for 67 and a tutty.
It was a very defensive game. Nobody on that game was great. And I'm not defending Archie because it was not the debut that a lot of people look for. But again, that was not Archie's doing this. It's been a lot of your mainstream media members putting that out there on Archie. But what were your overthoughts of it? Just after that game, one game, his first game as a starter against Ohio State, which is a legit team with a legit defense, coming off. They're the defending national champs.
I personally feel like his performance. I even said that I wasn't overly expecting. I don't know if I ever made it clear enough. I wasn't over expecting him to be just come out against the Ohio State, that is a top 5 ranked university, now number 1 ranked in the top 25 polls.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting him to come out and just scorched earth it. I saw there's growth in what he did. I saw some good, saw some bad. I also saw him going against a top ranked Ohio State defense. That's probably will end up being a top 5 unit.
Yes.
But I saw a guy that hasn't had a whole lot of game play in college against the best of the best since he's been there. He's going into his 3rd year.
Yes.
But overall, there were 3 breaks going the other direction for Texas of potentially winning that game or at least going into overtime being tied up 14-14, which would have been very interesting.
Yes.
To me, there's 3 or 4 plays it goes the other way or makes a different read that Texas could be potentially either up 14-7 or tied 14-14.
Yeah.
It's not like the game was it boring? Yes, 7-14. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
It was defensive struggle.
It's a different
on both sides.
Not the game you think you're going to see in a college. Normally you're putting up 30s, 40 points.
And it's week 1.
Yes.
Even Nick Saban came out and said that coaches don't really know what you really have. You kind of have an idea, but you're not really sure.
Yeah.
Texas lost players. Ohio State had lost some offensive players, defensive players, so forth and so on. So you're not quite sure what you got. Honestly, if I'm a Texas fan, I know you're probably a little bit disappointed. The media came out and kind of berated Archie, so took him out of the Heisman. I'm more curious to see what he can do building off of this game.
Yeah,
he owned it. We weren't quite on the same page on some things.
He handled it how you would expect him to, how you would want him to handle it in the media. He took all the blame, which is what you're supposed to do.
If we would throw this in a bigger stage and said this was Ohio State and Texas in the national championship game, and this what laid out, did he really have that bad of a game?
No, not really. No.
If you blow it up even more, neither team offense looked great, and it was a defensive struggle.
Well, think about that. Ohio State won that game by 7. They looked like shit, and they moved to number 1 in the polls.
And they were number 3.
They were
That's
number
what
3.
My thing is, it was
but they should have been
number
number 1 in the first place if you want to be kind of fair to them in the first. They're coming off a national championship.
Yeah.
You
have number 1 versus number 3. And like,
I mean, if you go back even to last year in the college football playoffs, Ohio State and Texas met in the playoffs to get to the national championship, and it came down to overtime for this game to end. So like, it wasn't a good game. It was a little bit higher score, but it was a defensive game back then too.
And so fast forward next year, still a defensive game. You literally got what really the realization was what you should have gotten is really what you got with 2 new QBs at the helm, a 7-14 game.
I just want everybody to pump again. I'm not coming to defense because of his last name. Pump the brakes. Like Archie's never put any of this. This has all been what we like to say, as you always hear us say, your mainstream sports media people, like your big media members, put all this on him because of who his uncles are, who his family members are. Like he went to Texas for a reason and he stayed there for the development for him to get better. And it's 1 week, like we just said. Give it time. When we get to mid-season, that's when we can start having these conversations. How is he looking? What's he looking like? Then we can really start having those actual conversations instead of what Brandon likes to call the clickbait bullshit of just you said all this all up into it and then what happens? Well, then you're going on the other side of the argument. Like that's clickbait. That's stick to your guns and roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like people make like his mechanics are people trying to come to his mechanic, which I find very weird because his mechanics fit into the nowadays NFL.
Yes.
There was some off-platform. He had some different kind of throws. He had like one bad read / wide receiver on his interception was a bad read / wide receiver ran a little bit of a wrong route.
Yes.
But he's such in a high intense moment. But what I'm curious to see is long term, like throughout the season, I want to like if you start seeing growth. Like, all I want
is growth.
I just seeing him progress and getting better. Week 2, Texas gets they get the God damn it!
Get it out.
San Jose State Spartans.
Yeah, they're gonna
no name like dog water.
He's probably gonna have.
He should.
I
need to see an explosion.
Yeah, I need like
Texas offense needs just an explosion. Dude needs to be out by halftime.
Yeah,
like that kind of explosion from him to kind of get that taste out of their mouth of only getting 7 points. I'm expecting.
When did they play another like real opponent type? Oh, you don't have that. That's okay. You don't have to get that up. I was just curious about how far they had to go. I don't know Texas's full schedule because, you play a lot of up and down teams, and then you get to.
So after that game, they get
San Jose.
They get Florida. October 4th be the next real matchup.
So he's got until October 4th to really. So he's got about a month. About a month to really get.
You can really get no names. You get UTEP, that's abbreviation. I don't know who they are at all. And then they got Sam Houston, another no-name school. And then they get Florida, who's currently ranked the 13th. And then they really dive into it after that. They get Oklahoma, so they get back-to-back really good games.
Yeah, you're really going to see you got some time to get some warm-up game, get the taste out of your mouth, figure out what you're going to do offensively. Because by that time, you know what you're going to really do, even though it's against... you're going to be paying these teams $2 to $3 million to come play you until you get to
potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
Boy, I mean, now they lose to any of these 3 teams.
Then we have to look at.
Then you have a different look at Archie altogether and the Texas team, but I don't foresee that happening.
But we'll have to wait and see again. We just want people to kind of pump the brakes. Like it's one game, he's going to get the taste out. Now another team that we got to have a conversation about, Alabama. People need it's for me, Brandon. I don't think people fear Alabama like they used to anymore. They don't fear Bama. Like there's no fear facing the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, if you did not see, Alabama got upsetted massively. They were ranked number 8 going into this game against Florida State, who was unranked at the time, and got demolished 31-17. Go for it. Go ahead.
Florida State's now at 14.
And Texas dropped Alabama dropped all the way to 21st. That's a hell of a fall. You went from top 10 to top 20.
That's a fall, yes. But, Trey, how you go unranked to, you know what, I'm a top 15 school now. Like, that's a hell of a jump. Like,
shout out Florida State, though, but
they talked shit, talking on Bama. When Nick Saban was there, boy, nobody was talking shit. I mean, LSU with Joe Burrow and those boys, they talked a little shit.
Yeah.
When Cam was there in Auburn, they talked a little shit.
So, obviously, Kellen, Kellen, who took over as the head coach for Alabama after Nick Saban left. He was the head coach of the Washington Huskies before he came over to Alabama. When Nick Saban was there, he was 226 wins to 4 losses against unranked teams in his whole tenure there at Alabama. Since Kellen has took over at Alabama, he's 10-4 against unranked teams. Ouch.
It's a big
ouch. The question is there a hot seat? He's making like his cap is high as their coach. And in college, his buyout is very high. I think it's like massively high. But like, it's Alabama. Their standards here, like this school is, again, you have to, I don't know how you want to look at it, but is there a hot seat for him now? Again, it's week 1. We just came talking about that off Archie, but as a head coach,
so he has a $70 million buyout without cause, which is roughly about 90% of his remaining salary.
Oh boy, maybe you're not buying it now. Maybe you're just going to let
that's a lot of money.
Maybe you're going to let this ride.
I mean, Bama's a very profitable school. They have a lot of money, so they could potentially buy him out if another coach would arise.
Maybe you need to call him sick.
I mean, you asked if he's on a hot seat. Like, just after week 1, it's kind of hard to put somebody on him like on the hot seat after being.
Considering how shitty Florida State was last year, granted, different team now, different team.
You can't compare it to last year, but they got handled, and like you said, they have 4 losses to unranked teams. That's
since he's taken over.
Yeah, since he's taken over, which is unheard of for Bama and what Nick Saban had. But I think the biggest problem
when people play Bama, their chest puffed out. Now they're not tucked away. They're not scared. They're puffed out. They let you hear about it.
If they're not flirting, I don't think he won't be fired this year. I mean, unless it goes horribly wrong and they don't even make a bowl game. If he scraps out a bowl game, he'll stay there. I mean, and that's 6 wins. That only requires 6 wins. So I don't think he'll be fired. But if he scraps out barely 6 wins, gets a bowl game and wins it, he'll come back. But that seat is hot where he could be fired during the season. I think they'll get turned. I mean, there's not a whole lot of really turn around. Like I said, like you don't really know what you got going into week 1 in college or in the pros. So you're still trying to kind of figure it out.
Ryan Williams, their wide receiver stud, gonna be hitting that transfer portal real fucking quickly.
I mean, potentially, but I think the problem is they hired like a Big 12, a Big 12 or a Pac-10 head coach, and he's in. SEC.
This is the SEC, baby. Like you got to
grit and grind. Like you never saw.
Different.
They're losing the line of scrimmage, and Bama don't lose the line of scrimmage.
No.
And they were losing the line of scrimmage.
You have to almost admit when you watch Alabama play, you're sitting there thinking like, damn, it's really tough to watch that on Bama. Like you're not used to seeing that.
Well, they're trying to be flashy. Even when Nick Saban, obviously, as football, kind of matured. Not really matured. Not what I want, but like when he kind of got away from the ground and pound, they were still won the line of scrimmage on both ends. Like you weren't going to run over Bama. Bama got ran over. Like that team ran them over. Like Florida State ran them over, and you never saw that before. And that could be a little bit of lack of experience, lack on the roster. But it also comes down to the head coach establishing that. And I do think they hired the wrong head coach. And
you gotta hire guys
that fits that formula of
the SEC. You can't just bring in from the Pac-10 or the Pac-12 and just think you're going to carry that over.
You see it in bowl games and you see it in the playoffs, and you see when you see Big 12 teams and Pac-10s. And
when they meet the SEC.
Even the ACC. When you see the SEC and the ACC go up against kind of like the high-flying, we'll call them the pretty boys, are out here.
Well, you could go back to when he was the head coach at Washington and they faced, Georgia in the fucking national championship game. Well, it was not great. And they had Michael Penix Jr., who was the quarterback, who was solid. But when you go, it's just it's not a player. It's just a talent difference. Like it's a lot of different talent.
I think it's really comes down to more of the scheme and the system you're trying to implement. You're trying to implement some fancy bougie. When really you need the little fancy bougie, but you need to have that knit and gritty down there in the trenches. And
absolutely,
it feels like even after a full year of knowing Nick Saban, they've already lost that, which is crazy.
And you got to look at it too. Another thing you got to take into Alabama that's a lot different too. When Nick Saban was there was a lot of not want to say accountability was there, but structure was there about what you expected of the players with Kellen. He's letting them stay out a little bit later. You can do this and do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Like with Nick Saban, boy, you ain't. I mean, there was a video that went up of the lineman warming up with his cell phone in his hand. You didn't. Again, it's not a big deal because he's warming up and he's listening to music. It's not a big deal. But with Nick Saban, that was not allowed. Your phone, your shit's put away. You can have your music on. You can warm up. But it's a structural thing, man, and it's. I think Alabama could be potentially in for a rough road this year.
So it's very much safe to say that they hired the wrong head coach. I didn't like that head coach hire.
Considering he got the whiff of that job based off what he did at Washington, which
is fair because he had a
great year. He had a great 2-year run with Washington, but let us know how you feel about Bama. Do you think the seat's hot now? Is it not hot? Let us know what you think. Moving on to another head coach that is very well known. Bill Belichick had his coaching debut with the North Carolina Tar Heels. Had a bunch of people turn out for the game, and they were gone by the third quarter. It was not great. They faced TCU. It was 48-14. Oh my God. His girlfriend was on the sideline. They were having a conversation. Big game. I don't know how people felt about that. But what is your... Again, you've been very critical that you don't think he's going to make it through this whole season.
I just think he kind of wanted to coach. I think he wanted to dabble, see what college football's kind of about. And I don't foresee him staying there past this year. I don't. Bill Belichick doesn't fit college football. Maybe 10 years ago, before you really were paying guys, yeah, you probably could do a Bill Belichick.
You've already heard people come out and say the recruiting process is weird. Bill Belichick's not going to talk to you about numbers. That's not how Belichick operates.
He's old. He is old. It takes a lot of energy. I mean, you have 50 states to broaden, to recruit. You have overseas players. And really, it's 48 states because you have Alaska and Hawaii that is not even connected. So that's a lot you have going on there. Plus, you have to pay attention to kids and their grades.
Yep.
And so, to me, I'm curious to see how the season unfolds for UNC. But I don't think he's going to be there past this year. He's going to jump to the NFL. He's going to get the win title for the most wins by a head coach in the NFL. Nobody in the NFL gave him a job, and UNC came calling, and he was like, sure, I'll take $2 million a year.
His next game up is Charlotte, which you would like to think he should win that game. Then it's Richmond, should win that game. Then you got UCF, you can potentially get smacked. Then you got number 4 Clemson, could get smacked. California, Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. Could be in a lot of trouble there.
Do you see them at all sneaking 6 wins? Do you see them getting a bowl game?
No.
You don't see them sneaking 6 wins?
I don't see them sneaking 6 wins. I think maybe at the most 4 wins, potentially.
Damn. I mean, yeah.
You got Charlotte and Richmond. Those should be 2 wins. UCF is a toss-up as a win, potentially. But Clemson, no. California, maybe. Virginia, no. Syracuse, no. Stanford, maybe. Wake Forest, no. Duke, 50-50. NC State, no. Is it...
Yeah, I mean,
think about all the money they spent too for Bill Belichick, and he brought his whole family with him. He got his son, he got his other coaches there, and also a weird flex too. Bill Belichick has banned all New England Patriot scouts from attending practices at UNC, which is also a weird flex too because Robert Kraft also came out and said once he's done coaching, he's getting a statue next to Tom Brady, But no Patriots, are allowed at the practice facility. But
he signed a 5-year deal there, but only the first 3 years are fully guaranteed. After that, there's nothing really much left on the book holding him there. He's just not, and I don't really like this move for him. I didn't like it to begin with. I was surprised that he didn't get an opportunity in the NFL this offseason.
Well, he got an opportunity, but not as a head coach. People wanted him as a DC or stuff like that. That's not
an opportunity.
And that's not
an opportunity. Because he's not a D. I mean, he's the best DC head coach to ever coach an NFL field. But
he wanted a head coaching job, and they didn't offer that, which was a weird flex.
How are you going to be if like the Jets, for instance, or the Giants? or
I still think Buffalo's a great spot for him.
Well, I still think
if Sean McDermott can get fired,
but what I'm saying
at that moment when there was head coaching,
but what I'm saying is like you are a brand new head coach, and but you bring in Bill Belichick as your DC. Who the fuck's gonna listen to you? Yeah. Like you have to go to some place that you've been established at, then you have some kind of repetition there or some kind of like rep there that like, hey, look, like you will answer to me over Bill Belichick, 7 to 8 ring Super Bowl Bill Belichick.
Yeah. No.
Well, that's yes, Bo.
Bo agrees with you, but that's Bill Belichick's debut and things he's got going on. Let's see how that turns out. But we got to turn over the last thing of college football. We got to talk about our two teams. Our KU football, they are 2-0. And they're about to face Missouri, which is a weird flex in itself because we're all close. This is the first time that they're going to face Missouri in 15, 16 years. That is crazy. It has been that long since Kansas and Missouri have played. Yes, but we agree with you. But that's KU's next up. K-State, they are 1-1. K-State lost their first game, and then they barely snuck by North Dakota in overtime, which didn't expect that. I thought K-State would have been 2-0, but that's just not how it.
Well, that game was good. It was also overseas in Ireland. Yeah, that was really weird that K-State was there
and not Notre Dame.
And not Notre Dame was there.
I would say Notre Dame, but
back on our KU football, I've got some fun little tidbits for you with Mizzou. So Kansas versus Missouri football rivalry, also known as the Border Rivalry or the Border Showdown, is an historic and bitter competition dating back to 1891. Rooted in the pre-Civil War ideologically conflict over slavery, because that's where you had the line that was drawn.
Yeah.
After a hiatus from 2012 now to 2024, we will now be renewed in 2025. Missouri is leading the all-time series 56-55 with 9 points. So KU has the potential to even up the series this week.
I like that.
So it's also known for intensity, including numerous pranks, strong emotional component for both fan bases, historical contact from the Bleeding Kansas area, which is fair. Another great game to tune into.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great game.
Weekend.
Absolutely, definitely gonna be tuning into that game because it's just crazy that it's been that long. But again, for the people that maybe not understand why it's been so long, they're in two different conferences now. Like they're not.
It's crazy that the teams played every year from 1919 to 2011, like you were saying. Both teams were in the Big 12. KU still in the Big 12, while Mizzou jumped to the SEC.
Should never.
In 2020, well, the money's bigger
the
there.
Money's bigger.
And Missouri's football has blossomed and has grown there. The same way that Washington, Texas, and Oklahoma both left.
Shout out Big Bolton came from Missouri.
And he's staying. He got drafted by the Chiefs.
He did.
So that's great there. But finally, that was the biggest thing with a bunch of teams moving around that are like border rivalries, like Texas, Oklahoma. They both jump, but they both get to keep their rivalry game.
Yep.
Mizzou and Kansas basketball and football was still a big rivalry, but we lost it because they couldn't ever make it work, or they just didn't want to make it work. But we finally get an old-time rivalry back, which is the shittiest thing when you have a rival that leaves, go to a different conference. They have different opponents they have to play or different obligations they have to meet, which is unfortunate, but I'm glad
we're getting that back.
I'm glad we have a football program that we can get behind this year again,
yes.
And a good Mizzou team to face to potentially even this up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for it. We're definitely gonna be tuning in, and you guys should too. But that is the big stuff that we got going on in college football. There are some other stories that we're gonna get to as the college football season gets into, because again, we're only like basically 1 week into college football. There's just not a lot. There's not a lot of stories out there. None of the clickbait stuff that you hear on your mainstream. We're not doing that over here. Brandon, don't do that.
That's just you.
I guess that's just me. Before we get to our NFL talk, there is some NBA stuff that we need to discuss, and it has to do with the Los Angeles Clippers. And this is a whole shebang. This is a whole shebang that we need to discuss right here. So, Steve Ballmer basically funded a tree planting company. He gave them money. And pretty much it was a fraudulent company, pretty much. They also signed Kawhi Leonard to a $28 million endorsement agreement for a no-show. So basically, he didn't have to do anything. He just signed, got paid, and that was it. Well, the company went under. People got arrested, and now there's a big NBA investigation going on into it. Steve Ballmer did appear on ESPN. Before we get into more of the details that Brandon's going to get into, because it's a lot to digest, the Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, if you don't know who Steve Ballmer is, big Microsoft person. I think he's like the 8th richest person in the motherfucking world, okay? Just want to make that very clear. He is coming out and claiming that they conned me. And I just want to say, and I think you would agree with me, and I think most people would, that's bullshit. You are too goddamn rich and have too many people in your goddamn circle to let that happen, right? Like that's
Steve Ballmer's worth $153.1 billion.
Like I'm just sorry, like that. You're going.
He is the richest owner in all of sports.
Like think about that
in America.
Like think about that. You heard what my man just said here.
Above
Steve Ballmer, you're not getting conned, my guy. There's people in your circle that would not allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have people there for those reasons. And for you to already be out on, these shows talking about it, just lets me know you're trying to do everything you can to flip the narrative. To flip it. I mean, you have allegations that you basically, what is the word? Curvement? The salary cap? Is that the word?
Try to curve the salary cap.
Curve the salary cap, and you have that too.
So what you're trying to say is obviously they try to curve the salary cap, but they're trying to circumvent the salary cap.
Yeah.
And so obviously we say what Steve Ballmer is worth, but we all know, but when you take all the back guys, kind of digging your brain a little bit, when Kawhi Leonard became a free agent after winning the chip over there in Toronto in Canada,
I wasn't leaving.
There was talks. I was like, hey, I need a little bit of love outside the game and outside what you're going to pay me. I need a little bit of something this, a little something this. Well, apparently he asked the Toronto Raptors owner, hey, I need $15 million of endorsement deals set up.
Mind you, they were already giving this man the key to city. He was going to live free and eat free.
According to him, I can't back that one up. That's just how he felt. Now, obviously, he would be, though. Drake could make that happen, So, but pretty much it sounds like Kawhi went to
And he did it with the Lakers, too, when Magic I mean, he wanted, a plane or
he
something.
wanted special benefits.
And the Lakers were like, no.
So they circumvented these, it's not been, proven, but the speculation is out there, and there is a lot of facts out there that's been put out there, that he got an extra $28 million to sign there. That was off the books, because, you can only, you pay you guys so much, but if I pay you this, so I can save some cap, the way he brings some other players around. So it's $28 million to circumvent the salary cap. So, let's say all this is true.
Yeah.
Then the NBA has already been through this before with the Minnesota Timberwolves back in 1999. They pulled a shady move. They could call it a shady move. They pulled the same thing with Joe Smith. They signed him to a cheap deal for 3 years, 1 year deal for $1 million, $2 million, and $2.5.
Yep.
With a secret under the table promise of $86 million mega deal after once they had his bird right. So this is not even quite even the same.
No.
They're like, sign here cheap, and after 3 years, we'll give you the mega deal of $86 million. Well, they're just paying Kawhi $28 million underneath the table while still paying him his full, pretty much a max deal. So, but the whole thing got exposed in court after the agencies and everybody got blown up.
Yep.
So David Stern, who was the commissioner at the time of the NBA, dropped the hammer on the Timberwolves. $3.5 million fine, and Smith's contract got invoked. So $3.5 million fine got to the Timberwolves owner. The owner, Glenn Taylor, was suspended, and the GM was forced to vacate.
And Joe Smith's contract was voided, and he wasn't able to play.
Yep. And so then they also, which at that time, if you guys don't know, Kevin Garnett, KG, was on that roster. They got ripped of 5 first-round picks that had forfeited, which then how you were supposed to build a roster around your superstar, which then obviously fast forward,
He left.
he gone.
Yep. So a lot of people, and I think you would agree, we talked about this earlier in the week, a lot of people feel like if these allegations are true, that Steve Ballmer should lose the Los Angeles Clippers.
So, after that, the NBA put in, rules. I guess if you're caught, it's cheating. But I don't feel like this is steep enough, and you can let me know. So for your first violation of cheating the cap, $4.5 million hit. You get caught twice, so you do this 2 times as an owner, as an organization. You know what? We're gonna hit you with a fine up to $5.5 million.
That's
it. That's just money.
It's a nickel.
I caught you 3 times, Junior. So 3 times in an organization, you're gonna lose draft picks. You're gonna forfeit first round picks, and I'm gonna void the contract. What do you mean? Why does it take 3 infractions, damn near,
I don't like
for you to
those
finally
rules.
actually do
Those
something?
rules are so outdated. It's not even funny.
But what makes it even worse is that they don't actually have to void the contract after your first violation or even your second. It's your third violation where we're like, you know what? We'll void the contract.
Adam Silver, these rules gotta be updated because $5 million. That's not, to Steve Ballmer, who's the richest
he's a
sports owner.
Millionaire.
That's not even, that's a night out. That's a drink. That's a fun night out. That ain't nothing. But it's a serious thing. A lot of people.
True?
If you're already going, I think there's some truth to it because again, I just don't think you got caught, man. You're that rich. You got people in your circle. There's just no way. And he's so rich that rich people have a different set of rules.
So they do. They
have a different set of rules, man.
They get bored. So we let y'all know what the kind of rules are. If you get caught, it's kind of a slap on the wrist, which is crazy to me.
Ask Michigan.
Well, that was just to win a natty. Anything. But the Clippers have officially opened the new stadium this last season, and now this is coming out. Do you think so? I feel like you feel like this is probably true that they did circumvent the salary cap.
Because it kind of makes sense when Kawhi signed that deal. You're like, damn, that's a weird deal. And then now this comes out, and you're like, nah, you know what? Okay, now
So if you were in charge of implementing rules for the NBA for organizations, if you find out they have circumvented the salary cap, what should be the punishment?
If that was the punishment what they did to the Timberwolves in 1999, fast forward to 2025, and the way that they are now, I think Kawhi Leonard's not a Clipper. You're voiding that contract. He is going to be suspended massively. Granted, it's not like he plays anyway. And Steve Ballmer, I mean, you already hear about other people already talking about they want him out as an owner. I mean, if you're not going to out him as an owner, when you're worth, what is that, $154 billion? $153 billion, boy, $5.5 million isn't going to hurt you. We're going to have to find you a couple billion. It's going to be a massive.
Well, I think you're close. I don't think quite right. I think the contract gets voided.
Yeah,
I think you get some kind of fine.
I think you lose all your picks.
Well, I think you get fined, and then I think the precedent has been set that it's 5 first-round picks, and you get 5 first-round picks, and you can't acquire no first-round picks.
Yes.
You can acquire all the seconds you want, but you cannot acquire no first-round picks or first-round pick players that year.
Yeah.
The following year, so
I can even go for maybe for 2 years. 2 years, you can't.
No, 5 years, you can't have.
Oh yeah, for 5. Okay, yeah.
For 5 years, you can't have first-round picks.
Can acquire them,
and you can't. If somebody drafts a player, you can't trade for that player. You cannot have no first-round talent for 5 years. The following year, no, you cannot trade for that person. But for 5 straight years, for one violation. Second violation, I think is huge.
Because those were the president in 1990. Motherfuckers got way more money.
Well, I don't care about the money. The owners don't care about the money. But for me, that's for the fans. I think that's what it should be. You get caught cheating like that, circumventing the salary cap. 5 is been set 5 years. You can't have no first round picks. That contract.
To me, the reason why I think it is true and guilty to wrap this argument up is because immediately he jumped on a big sports show and did a sit down. I just like you try. It's a little sus. You're jumping on, and we're talking about. I don't know the details. I didn't know. Blah blah blah. And you're very you go and watch the video and you watch the interview. He's very. You know how like when you like very antsy, very movie.
Kind of like when you catch a kid doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Like, you're like,
that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Like that's literally what he did, bro. Like that's what he did, and you're just not getting conned when you're worth that much money with the people that's in your entourage. It's not happening.
For me to fully wrap it up, if you get caught a second time as an owner, not even if he's done it, not even if like the owner's doing it, but the GM done it. One, if a GM does it, the GM should be suspended. If you can prove the GM, it was solely just the GM. But the second time it happens to that organization with that owner, you're barred. Like you're gone. You have to sell the team.
Yep, that's fair.
And if you're a GM that gets caught doing it more than once, there's no place for you to leave.
There's no place for you to leave.
You
ban people for less in the league.
Well, similar for betting. Like you get caught for betting, you're out of the league. You get caught for GM. Honestly, if you're a GM and you did it, you no longer be.
When you really think about it, it's been a tough offseason for the NBA. When you think about it, and people trying to lie, you've had sports betting, Michael Porter hit. You've had other guys investigated, they were cleared, but that was a big hit. Now you have the Steve Ballmer, Kawhi Leonard shadiness crap. Like
that's an owner in the one.
That's an owner in the biggest market who's one of the richest people, the richest sports owner in the world. So, but let us know what you guys think. Now let's get to the nit and gritty of our conversation here. NFL football, baby. We are here. Football is back. Hopefully you guys caught some of that Cowboys-Eagles game last night. Thursday night football. It was a great game. It really was in all reality. It was 24-20. The Philadelphia Eagles did take the game. But before we even get talking about the game, we got to talk about what took place before a fucking snap even really happened, man. Like, obviously, the kickoff happened. An Eagle player went down. Unfortunately, looking like he tore his ACL, which I think was confirmed he did tear his ACL. But when that was all happening, Dak was behind his offensive line. It looked like Dak spit. Jalen Carter took a offense to it. If you guys don't know who Jalen Carter is, an up-and-coming star defensive tackle in this league. Stud defensive tackle, come from Georgia. Stepped up to Dak. Dak stepped forward to him. And Jalen gave him a nice little spit to the chest, boy. And shout out to Dak, dude, because your composure is a lot better than what I think ours would have been. Because I'm getting ejected and you getting ejected.
I'm getting ejected for something completely different than why you're getting ejected.
What? Jalen Carter spit on Dak, and he was immediately ejected from the game before a snap even happened. That was the big thing that kicked off the game. The game was very chippy right off the rip, which you expect it to be. It's the Eagles and Cowboys. The game was lightning in a bottle up until a storm came through and lightning struck. It was in the area. The game got delayed, and then after that, it really just kind of sucked the life out of all the players, and that was the end of the lightning in a bottle. The Eagles did win the game. For your fantasy owners, and you had like Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown on your roster, wasn't overly great for your fantasy team.
Not quite. Saquon Barkley, good. He got about 18 points. And A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, not so good. Dak, not so good for fantasy owners.
Jalen?
He had CD, Jalen, Saquon, good. Solid up.
For your fantasy league.
For the fantasy things. Speaking a little bit of the numbers, obviously they won. The Cowboys had a chance to win.
They did. CD dropped it. Unfortunately, can't make those.
2 drops in the final drive.
That last drop by CD, honestly, keep it buck, you shouldn't have dropped that one. That was in your corner pocket, baby. It was in your corner pocket.
What am I talking about? So Dak went 21 of 34 for 188 yards. No tutties, no picks. Javonte Williams, 54 yards on 15 carries. He snuck in on short yardage for 2 tutties. And the boy CD Lamb, 7 catches, 110 yards.
Yep.
Should have had a bigger game. Should have, could have, would have kind of thing. They had 1 sack on the day. Let's jump over to the Eagles, and what I really want to talk about is Jalen Hurts.
Let's talk about
in this offense.
Let's get it.
So Jalen Hurts went 19 of 23 for 152 passing, no tutties, no interceptions. Saquon Barkley, 18 carries, 60 yards, 1 tutty. Before I really touch on the receiving, though, like Devontae Smith, 3 catches, 16 yards. A.J. Brown, 1 catch, 8 yards. You're paying a shit ton of money to them boys to catch 4 passes.
Considering the talk this whole offseason was that everyone was like Jalen Hurts is going to air it out to these boys this year. And they're not a whole airing it out. It was a lot of Jalen Hurts taking off running. Granted, he made plays with his legs.
So speaking of his legs, he had 14 carries for 62 yards and 2
I guess my question for this whole that whole thing is, where the fuck was the quarterback spot for Dallas Cowboys? Oh, that's right. He's over in Green Bay right now. He's chilling over in Green Bay, new contract. That's where he's at right about now. That was embarrassing by the Cowboys defensively. Jalen, literally, you had nobody watching him.
That's not really what I want to talk about. Okay. That's not really what I care about. Okay. I can't help the defense didn't have a spy on him, or they allowed the read option. My thing is, what we want to talk about is, so the whole question is, some people feel like Jalen Hurts has been disrespected as a quarterback. Now, we also know what Jalen Hurts has done on the Super Bowl stage. Yep. Dude has lit it up.
Now, I don't have any questions on that.
Because he did. It was to our Kansas City Chiefs. Twice. Fell short once, and then beat the shit out of us. Spanked us, did everything he wanted to us. But you know what he can do on the biggest stage. No one's questioning his ability to show up in big games. But you got to get to big games.
Yep.
And the talent around you has to allow you to get to big games. For him, it seems.
Yep.
You have the talent out wide with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. You're paying these dudes, close to $30 million per each. 152 yards with a solid O-line. Like, he got sacked once. How are we not pushing the ball more down the field with Dallas Goedert at tight end? So it's not like you don't have weapons out wide, but we only have 152 yards. It's crazy. 152 yards passing and 62 yards rushing to me with him is not a winning recipe. Not when you have the horse in the backfield getting 18 carries for 60 yards.
No, yeah, I agree.
So where do you? I guess what I'm trying to say is where do you kind of put him on that quarterback slate? Like, how do you view him as a quarterback? Do you put
Yeah, that's tough because in the top 10 quarterbacks, he was ranked 9th in the top 10 quarterbacks. And
which some people think that's
like, I'm just sorry. Like, you're not taking him over Mahomes. You're not taking him over Allen, Burrow, Jackson. Then that's where you really start to have the conversations at, because Stafford was in front of him. Are you going to take?
I'm taking Matthew Stafford.
You're taking Matthew Stafford, regardless of the age. You're taking Stafford. Okay, so
we're talking like a win now game. I'm not talking about trying to build something.
Win now. Like those guys right there.
I'm taking Stafford
Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Stafford. So we're at 5. So Daniels, we can't really put Daniels in there because he's in his second year. We got to see it again.
But if a win now game of what we know, I'm taking Jalen Daniels because he does what he can do. He can run.
Okay, so now we're at 6. We got Baker Mayfield that was in the top 10. I think
yeah. No, if you would give the Eagles defense to the Bucs last year, that's still the conversation for that Bucs team.
Then you got Justin Herbert and Jared Goff.
I don't agree with the Herbert one. I'm taking Hurts over Herbert.
Yes.
Because Herbert doesn't show up in big games.
No.
Goff, that one is kind of a 50-50. I think I'd probably take Hurts over Goff. So he's probably like a top 8, top 7 quarterback in the NFL. But I just don't know if he's a guy that can elevate.
He's not that generational talent that
everything has to be right around him.
Yes, and he's got a lot of things right around him right now, which is not a knock. Again, when it's time to win in big moments, he's there. But the hype around this is that, it's not quite there for me. Again, week 1, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
I think it's safe to say that,
consider we've already had issues with A.J. Brown not getting the ball in first game, 1 catch, 8 yards. Like, that's not a recipe.
Because he's a true number 1 guy and needs the damn ball. Like, to have an impact, he needs the goddamn ball. And 1 catch is not enough for him. It's not enough for Devontae Smith to get
3 catches.
3 catches for 16 yards. Like,
it's more of a...
CD got 7-8 catches. He had 10-11 targets.
Yeah.
Like, you need more volume towards those guys. And I don't know. He has... I think it's a different OC this year.
Yeah. Which a lot of people like to... he's always had new guys.
But you've been in the league long.
I think Baker Mayfield.
You've been in the league long enough. Like, there's not a whole lot of more schemes you can get.
Yeah.
I just don't foresee this recipe for the Eagles offensively working out well for them. It's just week one. But I don't feel like Jalen Hurts is a fringe top 10 quarterback going into this year, and seeing how this played out and how he looked, it's hard to say. Like, he's a poor man's Lamar Jackson and a very, very poor man Jalen Daniels.
Yeah.
He's almost, if you remove that Super Bowl, how he looks in the big games, you could say he's almost like a rich man Daniel Jones.
That's
like how they play.
How they play.
Like,
yeah.
if you put Daniel Jones on the Eagles with that defense, with those weapons out there, with that coaching staff that he's had there with the Eagles, you could almost say Daniel Jones would be just as successful as Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Again, and it's not knocking Hurts again.
No, I'm knocking Hurts and his progression, not able to progress and throw the goddamn ball to two number one guys.
When you got talent like that, you got to be able to get the ball downfield. Because if you take those other quarterbacks that we talked about, they're getting those guys the ball down. They're figuring out how to get those guys.
Oh, they're going to have a 300-yard game against a no-defense Cowboys. Like, they're scoring more than 24 points, and Saquon Barkley is having way more than.
Especially when you talk about that offensive line, too. That's a top offensive line.
One sack, so it wasn't like he was under duress a lot.
He,
like you said, Micah Parsons, he over there chilling in Green Bay, in Cheesetown.
Green Bay. But speaking of Jalen Hurts, too, there was a conversation that was brought up that we got to have, my guy. We got to have it because Dan Orlovsky, who here lately, dude, I'm a little torn on his takes. But Dan Orlovsky said that Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni is the new Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. And you listened to the argument. You heard it. Where do you stand on it, knowing that we got Andy Reid
so
sitting out
he's
there?
not saying, like, intelligent-wise or greatness-wise or anything of that sort. It's like, so you guys need more clarification if you didn't see it. Just look up Darren Orlovsky's take, the next Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. These need more saying like how Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts act of like not liking each other and Nick Sirianni not knowing the banner's dropping.
That was a weird thing.
Game day. What do you mean we having a banner drop? Like it's more of like trying to act like we don't know what's going on. I seriously feel like Nick Sirianni don't know what's going on half the time. I seriously feel that way. And I seriously feel Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni really don't get along.
No, they don't like each other.
Because they literally, like, there's a difference between having success and as you grow as a player. But
there were times where Bill Belichick and Tom Brady actually.
But that's after they've grown and they've been together for a while. Because everybody in relationships and friendships and working areas, after a while being together, you're going to butt heads. They really haven't been together all that long with great success, and they were already butting heads. Like 2 years ago.
That's why I have the reason I have a problem with the take is, at least with Bill Belichick, you knew what Bill Belichick meant to the team, the defensive side of the ball, to a degree, and held everybody to a standard. That's not Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is not a part of the offense. He's not a part of the defense. He's got guys for those situations. Nick Sirianni is just a guy there that has a position as the head coach. And Philadelphia Eagle fans may not like to hear that, but that's the cold hard truth. Those are facts. He has guys in place in certain situations. He has input, but that's not him. At least with Bill Belichick, yeah, I know what I'm getting right there. Like that's 100%.
Well, we saw what happened the first time in 23 Super Bowl. When he lost to the Chiefs on the offseason, he lost to OCDC. The team looked arrayed. The locker room was fractured.
And he took over. He tried to do things, and he wasn't good at it.
Following offseason, he got stud. Well, I guess he still has his OC because it's Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
So I guess they still have the same OCs for Jalen Hurts. So 2 years in a row now, same OC. But he doesn't have any. He has obviously say, but he's not in charge of making play calls. For every play, a la kind of like the Andy Reid, the Bill Belichick's, or the Harbaughs.
Like he doesn't. He's not a. He's just. That's the part why I did. Like he's not a Pacific.
I agree with what you're saying. But like what I think he was trying to say, it was kind of like their chemistry. I think maybe he was trying to talk about, but I just genuinely think they really don't really get along at all.
No.
And to me, Nick Sirianni would be a hell of a head cheerleader for the Vikings, because like they have male cheerleaders as captains, and I think Nick Sirianni would flourish there.
And you've been very vocal that you don't think Nick Sirianni is going to last very long in Philadelphia. You don't think Jalen Hurts is going to last long in Philadelphia. Obviously, they got deals. But when the talent is gone, they won't.
Once you have to start paying everybody, and we're starting to kind of see the bill's going to come due, and they've done a great job offensively of paying ahead. But eventually, the bill's going to come due for guys who can't quite do that too. And when that happens,
it is a butting heads. Like we've seen it over the last couple of years. Like AJ Brown's not going to be happy getting one catch for 8 yards. That's not.
If you get that for about 3.
You already saw what happened last year. Granted, they were able to obviously win the Super Bowl, but man, like starting the season off like that, it's not great. It's not great.
It's not great for him, but winning fixes everything. Winning kind of keeps everything kind of quiet.
When you lose, that's when the cracks start to form.
You get a little bit of a losing streak, then you kind of see how your leaders are, and your leader is AJ Brown. Your leader is Jalen Hurts. Saquon, like you said last year, really was kind of a fix-all. He goes down with a little bit of a nagging injury. You might be still a different Eagles. I think you and I both agree that we think the Eagles are going to win this division.
Yeah.
We don't expect much out of the Cowboys or Giants.
Now, it really can the Commanders repeat the success that they had last season?
See what we get out of Jalen Daniels.
See if
you can kind of skate around that.
Before we get to those Week 1 matchups, we do have some serious news that we need to talk about. And this may hurt some of you fantasy owners as well. CMC's got some calf issues again. It's already looking like that's not good. But in the instance of your Niners fan, it's a good thing that you traded for a starting running back Brian Robinson Jr., who can now step up to the forefront and give CMC the time that he needs, because when you hear calf strain, dude, I'm starting to think, fuck, here goes that Achilles again. Like, woo-hoo, like 49ers, like this is not good. Especially when you look at Brock. I feel bad for Brock because CMC now being down, and you look at who your 2 number 1s are, and Sky Moore and MVS with Juwan Jenkins sitting over there as well. Brandon Ayuk's not going to be back till like week 6, 7 from his ACL. Boy, this is not good if you're a 49ers fan. This is not good. This is not the news you needed to hear with your week 1 matchup approaching this Sunday.
Well, he was a full participant in practice Wednesday.
Okay.
So that's good news, but he has been downgraded to limited because of a calf injury.
That's not
According
good.
to the official reports, no, nobody's saying it is due to his pre-existing injury he had last year with his Achilles and the tendonitis that was down in there, and the stem cells that he had that ended up being in both calves / Achilles. So we don't know. It's not being important. That's more of kind of like he does a little bit of a muscle tweakness. It sounds like.
Yeah.
But if you're a Niners fan, if you're a fantasy owner that you have him, you're banging on the goddamn table, upset. And if you can, I would run out there and scoop up Brian Robinson. You gotta run out there and scoop him up. But there's kind of a little bit of like writing on the wall. Now that you see that this injury, why they made that trade, that granted it was pennies on the dollars for a very solid running back in the NFL, it was pennies on the dollars, but you can kind of understand why. I'd be more concerned if he didn't play week 1.
Yeah, if he's not playing.
If he didn't play week 1, I'm shitting myself. I'm a 49ers fan.
You're shitting yourself if you're a fantasy owner, thinking like but that is that news. We got our week 1 matchups. We're going to start with, as you know, our Kansas City Chiefs. They played today. You guys are going to see this a little late. They play the Chargers in Brazil. And I think it's safe to say we're taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. Without a shadow of a doubt. I think we win this game easily by 2 scores. Me personally. I think we're 2 scores. 14 points. I think we take this game.
14?
By 14.
14? I was like, what, like 9, 8?
Nah, 14. I think it's a comfortable 2-touchdown win over this one. I'm going to say 27 to like maybe like 10.
You realize that's 17 points.
Oh, sorry. So like 13.
You realize that's still double.
That's still like I'm in that 2-touchdown range is where I just don't. I don't like it for the Chargers.
So I'm going to run through the list.
Yeah, let's go.
You're going to give me and the viewers the winners.
Okay. All right, let's get it.
And if you want, you give me the score, but we can go ahead.
Okay.
So we got obviously when the Cowboys and Eagles played. Eagles won 24-20. We got the Chiefs game out of the way. Colts, Dolphins. These will be the Sunday.
Dolphins win the game.
Are you worried about that game at all?
Huh?
You worried about that game at all?
No.
Okay. Next, we got Aaron Rodgers' debut against his former team, the Jets. Steelers versus Jets.
I'm actually going to take the Jets. I think this is going to be, I think Jets win it by 7.
All right. Then next we got Panthers, Jaguars.
Give me the Panthers, baby. Woo. Give me the Panthers.
Next we got the Arizona Cardinals and the fucking Saints.
Give me the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, fuck the Saints. Get the Cardinals, man. The Cardinals should win that game, no problem. Like it should
I think I got enough left in my arm.
I think you can get out there for the Saints.
I think I got enough left in my arm. Next we got Giants, Commanders.
Not the Commanders.
Bucks, Falcons.
Bucks, take that game.
Anything that intrigues you in that matchup?
The only thing that intrigues me in that matchup is I'm curious to see what Michael Penix Jr. looks like. Because Kirk Cousins is an expensive backup sitting back behind him.
I would agree, and I'm kind of curious to see how they use.
I don't care to see what I'd be curious to see if him and Kyle Pitts have great chemistry, but it's more of can Michael Penix bring something to this offense that Kirk Cousins did?
I'm curious to see the rookie wide receiver for the Bucks kind of filling in.
Yeah.
Next we have
took him from me in fantasy, fucker. But go ahead.
Bengals, Browns.
Bengals, but it's closer than what I think people think. It's going to be close.
I'm going to say he's wrong. It's Bengals, but it's a blowout. Next, we have Raiders, Patriots.
Raiders, but it's closer than what people think.
That's going to be a nasty game. This is going to be a defensive load.
That's going to be
Pete Carroll's debut with Geno. Mike Vrabel's debut for the Patriots.
That Patriots defense is going to be something.
That's a really good matchup week 1. The NFL did a pretty good one there. 49ers, Seahawks.
With everything that we're looking at now, with CMC getting the Seahawks,
that's going to be. I mean,
it's going to be a dogfight because it's a divisional game and the rivalry that's there. But give me the Seahawks, man.
Anything intrigue you in that matchup?
I'd like to see can Sam Darnold continue the success that he had last year. This is your really chance to prove it. I think it's weird that the Vikings didn't want him to keep him after that type of season, but can you sustain what you showed last year? An MVP type candidate.
Next we have Cam Ward's debut with the Titans and the Broncos and Bo Nix and Sean Payton.
It's the Broncos. That defense is going to be scary as fuck.
Poor Cam Ward.
Poor Cam.
And next we have Lions, Packers.
Now this game's going to be a dogfight. It changed a lot for the Lions because you got to worry about Micah Parsons now. Granted, Micah is dealing with somewhat of a back injury, sort of, but he's going to play. I'm going to say the Packers win this game, but I think this game is a field goal type of game. I think this game is fucking close.
For me, I'm really curious to see how the offense and defense, what kind of system they're in, and the play calling, how it works offensively, and what kind of team they kind of come out defensively with having both OC and DC both gone for the Lions. I think it's going to be huge. And see kind of how that season.
What does Jared Goff look like without Ben Johnson? That's a big thing for this game too.
Next we have Texans, Rams.
Oh,
you're too confident, so I'm moving on. Bills, Ravens is the Sunday night game.
This Sunday night game right here, boy. This is Isaac. This is for you. Give me Buffalo by 3.
Is this game bigger for either quarterback in your mind? In your opinion, in your mind, is this game mean week 1? But does this game mean a little bit more to either one of them?
I think it means a little. I think it means more for Josh because for the simple fact of everybody looked at Josh and you didn't deserve the MVP. You didn't. Blah blah blah. This blah 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 that. Lamar should have won the MVP. Granted, you could go back to the previous year where Josh technically should have been the MVP over Lamar, but they gave it to Lamar.
Okay.
But I look, it's just to solidify yourself for Josh. You have the lesser talent of the roster going up against Lamar Jackson, who's got all the All-Pros, all the Pro Bowlers, all the talent on that side of the field. I just think it's more for Josh than it is for Lamar. There will be more excuses for Lamar if he loses than there will be for Josh if he loses.
So, I was going to say you're wrong, but then I was like, I see what you're saying from an MVP
That's where I was going with
but
it.
You're wrong. In the sense of we've seen Josh beat Lamar in the playoffs.
Yes,
we've seen Josh win in the playoffs in the biggest moments. We've never in the playoffs or in big games looked at Josh and said, Josh Allen is the reason why the Buffalo fucking Bills lost. But we look at the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and say, Lamar's why they lost.
Yeah.
We literally looked at them last year when they lost to Buffalo. Lamar's the reason why they lost. Like the quarterback lost them that game.
He made mistakes.
To me, if there's any kind of like look at it, like it's only week one, so you can't put a whole lot of stock into it. But to me, it'd be a bigger win for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, mainly Lamar, to beat Josh Allen in this Buffalo Bills.
I get your point.
Because he's never shown up in big Buffalo. I mean, it's Kansas City, Buffalo. I mean, it's really those two teams. And then you have the Ravens when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl.
I see that point, too.
And so to me, Lamar has to beat Josh.
The only reason I look at it that way, too, is you look at Lamar and what he does. This is what he does in the regular. He wins. He wins in the regular season.
But he loses to great teams.
He does.
Like Mahomes.
When he has greater teams, too.
When he
has the guys. He has
back-to-back years, you could say he's had the best built roster on both sides. Lost at home to the Chiefs. Then lost to Buffalo, I believe, on the road. So I do think, for me, Lamar needs to.
No, I think to
me, if Lamar loses, it can't be because of him. It has to be because of somebody else, and then it doesn't really matter.
But if you that's
if Lamar's why they lose, that's just another reason why there's no reason to think you can't get it done. Yeah. It would put more a little bit of pressure on him.
That right there that is one of the best games. The fact that I'm glad they got that game for the Sunday night game. They actually hit it right, because normally you'll see a game like that and it's like the noon game, like the evening game. But
so now we're on to the Monday night game. Vikings, Bears. Now there's a lot. You got very first start ever. McCarthy, Caleb Williams with his own head coach.
There's a lot of things going on in this game. J.J. McCarthy, don't know, got hurt last year. He's from Michigan, never really threw the football. Vikings are putting a lot of stock in him. They chose him over Sam Darnold. They chose him over bringing in Aaron Rodgers. Everything that the Vikings have done showed you that J.J. McCarthy is the guy that they are rolling with as their QB1, and I'm nervous for it because there's nothing that's ever showed you that JJ's ever been that guy. Again, not saying he can't be, but he's never shown you that he can be that guy. It makes me nervous because you got Jetta. So Jetta's going to clean up some of your areas for you at times. You just throw the ball and let Jetta go get it. For Caleb Williams, you have a legit head coach that's offensive minded than Ben Johnson. And there's a lot riding. There's more pressure on Caleb Williams than there is on JJ, but there is a lot of pressure on JJ. I would like to say that I think the Bears win this game, but it's an ugly win. It's an ugly game for a Monday night game, but I'll give it to the Bears. But there's a lot of.
What do you mean ugly? You mean like defensively or just like the
It's just ugly across the board.
Just think the plays
because nothing leading up for the Bears to this game shows you it's going to be great. We've seen guys get kicked out of practice. We've seen Caleb not look great.
Okay, but I'm asking is it ugly in the terms of because they both kind of sport and solid defenses.
I think it's ugly offensively. It's just ugly offensively. And if you're fantasy owners with Justin Jefferson, I'm sorry. I think it's going to be a rough game.
Cross your fingers.
You cross your goddamn fingers, and hopefully something magical happens. But defensively for both teams, I think it's going to be solid. But offensively, I think it's going to be a lot of frustration on both sides of the ball for both quarterbacks.
So we obviously know what Caleb Williams' struggles was last year's with the inconsistency, and
he was sacked 68 times.
By their O-line, we all know all the talent that he's been drafted into and now still has and been developed, and he has a better head coach, better stable coaching staff. But we don't know what JJ is. one last thing. What I know you're not very high on him, but what are you expecting from him in his very first ever career start in the NFL? Granted, we saw what Patrick Mahomes was in his very first career year.
Yes.
The template is there.
I guess I'm just kind of looking for, from the last time we saw you play, again, college and NFL are different. I'm just going off basically when the last time we saw you play. I'm just kind of looking for, did you develop, and I get you were rehabbing the injury, but I'm looking, did you work on your mechanics? What do your mechanics look like from the last time we saw you play in a preseason game till now? What is the development that you took? And the scheme that you run. If they come out and it's a lot of run heavy, kind of like slant throws, it lets me know that the development was not great. But if you're sitting in the pocket, maneuvering up, then I'd be more intrigued.
I mean, if you're a lot of quick passes, slants, some RPOs,
that'd be great for Jetta because get him in space, boom, he's gone.
But it's also good for a young developing quarterback. He didn't play at all last year.
No.
And I think his mechanics are pretty strong for JJ McCarthy, but for me, it's more like reading the offense. In the speed of the game only comes by playing.
Yeah. It's going to be, I just think it's going to be an ugly offense for both games. Because, again, like you said, it's week one. They're both with new people all around. One's beginning his career, basically a rookie, even though he's not a rookie. And another guy, it's supposed to be a generational talent coming out of college that went to Chicago. But those are your week one matchups. And we'll be able to clip what I said. We'll come back next week, and we'll go over them and talk about it and really break them down. But enjoy football, guys. Football's back. We're going to be all football talk really going from here forward for the next 17 weeks and then the playoffs as well. So hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next week.